Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 18, The Reunion Part 2.
Listen here, sorry for the wait. I am under the weather.
Yes, he is.
And my wife been taking care of me. I guess I put too much crack in the streets.
It was a blaze.
It was a blaze. Too much snowfall in the streets. I told y'all I'm gonna drop those deep dives and I'm gonna flood the streets like the 80s.
Yes, he sure did.
Figuratively. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Anything else?
That's all we got.
Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We will get into all of it this episode. Let's go, Blair.
All right. So Kevin asked David and Madison if David and Madison were together during that text message.
Yeah.
David said that he did go out with her one time with Alan when he hung out with her and with her cousin as well. Mm-hmm. He is a flirtatious guy, so he knows that the hangouts are probably pretty flirtatious. It was because he wasn't getting what he wanted at home. It made him feel like he still had it. Wow. The first time they kissed, David says, was at Juan's warehouse after the big blow up.
Yeah.
Michelle doesn't think she'll ever get the truth. There's no way that he sent that text, "You look so good, I can't wait to eat you up," without having a physical relationship. Kevin says it implies that you've at least had a snack before.
At least a little bit.
Kevin tells Michelle that, it gave fuel to your feelings, though, Michelle, because you were already acting kind of funny with David in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Michelle always had a feeling that he wasn't authentic. Maybe it was her body protecting her.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm. So they start talking about what do they consider success. Mm-hmm. Michelle thinks that finance is a part of success. She didn't think of what they could build together. She heard some numbers from him and got scared. Yeah. Especially with him living at home, she thought that there would be some higher numbers being talked about. Mm-hmm. David said that he is successful with the woman who loves him and who doesn't judge him. He's got an investment property in Iowa. He gives Madison financial security by paying for when they go out on dates. Yeah. He is a gentleman to her. David says that she is the breadwinner, but when it comes to age, the question is asked, does that play a part because Madison is younger? And Michelle agreed that if she was 10 years younger, maybe she would have given David a chance.
She wouldn't have.
He apologizes again. Michelle still wants to get married. She is dating and is having fun right now. Mm-hmm. She knows that she can be judgmental, and she has a lot of walls up that she's going to work to tear down. Yeah. David is looking forward to a marriage with Madison. He tries to say this was a crazy way to get married, and Kevin tells him, well, nobody put something to your head talking about you need to come here. You chose this for yourself.
Yeah, no one put a weapon to you to say, come on, Married at First Sight. Yeah. Listen here, we never go get the timeline.
No.
We are never going to get the accurate timeline of when this started. Mm-hmm. And that just makes it seem more nasty, more guilty, and things of that nature. What is your thoughts on overall all of this?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucks because, I'm kind of over the David and Madison storyline. Yeah. And the only reason I'm saying that is because we're not getting anything new. No. They're not revealing anything. So it's just kind of it is what it is at this point. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to Michelle wanting them to be held accountable, I feel like the experts, the commentators, everybody has held them accountable as much as possible. But look, these people, this is their life. They're going to do what they want to do. So, it is what it is. The way they got together was foul. Yeah. And they know it, and that's why they're apologizing every 5 seconds, and I guess it's time to move on.
Yeah. I do like the fact that even though in the beginning of the season I was like, you know what, Michelle, your gripe should be with the experts. Yeah. I do like the fact that Kevin said, hey, Michelle, you did not come into this process with open arms. You get what I'm saying? She said maybe it was my body rejecting because he was not genuine in how he was. I will give you bail to get out of jail if you even gave him a chance to talk. There was times where he couldn't even talk to you. So before we even get to if he's genuine or if he's not genuine, is he lying, you wouldn't even let him ask you about your father on the honeymoon. Right. So it just came off as if, Michelle was just very defensive throughout the whole marriage. But that's the whole point of Married at First Sight. Even though she did not finish with her husband and things like that, she learned something about herself that she could take back and work on. Yeah.
So we move on to Carla and Juan. Yeah. So they talk about what attracted them to each other at first. Juan liked her eyes and her personality, and Carla liked how he was goal-driven and passionate about life. Yeah. So sparks went flying due to pretty much the differences in how they operate. Yeah. He's more analytical. She's more go with the flow. Juan didn't want to make the physical aspect a focal point of the marriage. He wanted to dig deep first. He said that the attraction issue was more so about lifestyle and not physical, but something was just missing. Kevin asked them about the intimacy coach, and Juan just said it wasn't his style. He really didn't get much from it.
Yeah.
And Carla said, well, we did actually need her. Like, Tantra is to connect beyond the sexual.
Yeah.
It was a way to connect other than sex, something just with eye contact, with physical touch, to kind of get us into the physical nature of our relationship without sex.
Yeah.
Carla never felt the relationship would go the distance during the honeymoon because he beats to his own drum, and he had no consideration to her being his partner.
Facts.
Juan said that he forgot about her and she decided she would go with the flow, but now she sees him. Juan knows that wasn't a good thing to say. He came into this being as realistic as he could for his process. He knew Carla for 4 to 5 days. He wasn't all in, and he didn't look at it as his wife forever. He wanted to get to know her and take his time. Other guys were buying their wives massages. He didn't really feel like he needed to do all that. And Carla kind of interrupted him and said, well, it's not about the money they were spending. It's about the gesture that you would do something thoughtful for your person to show that you cared.
Come on.
Juan tells us that he showed that he cared by being loyal and not cheating.
What?
Kevin said, well, you're naming things that you're supposed to do in a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get a trophy for that. You still have to take the role as the husband. Well, Juan apologizes for not giving her what she expected. And Carla tells him, I really didn't expect anything. You just forgot about me.
Yeah.
She didn't expect her husband to forget about her. That's probably about as much as she expected.
On the second day, at least.
Kevin asked, did Juan struggle with understanding whose he was as a person? And Carla said, it's not that he didn't understand who she was. It just wasn't his way of living.
Yeah.
Juan did learn from her. Apparently, he went on a nature trip to ground with nature, and he's implemented different Carla-isms and, just that type of kind of woo-woo type of thing into his lifestyle. And Juan learned that he needs to relax sometimes and to give himself some grace. Carla thinks maybe she should have shown her serious side first when it comes to like business and what steps she's taken in life. Maybe the kind of lackadaisical attitude was a turnoff.
Yeah.
We see clips of Juan having fun. Carla appreciated how good the communication was. Juan has a girlfriend now. He tells us she is Brazilian. They align more about how they go about life.
Now, here's the thing, right? A lot of stuff have thank you for reading all that, Blair.
You're welcome, my love.
I want to take this all the way back to when he commented on our page and things like that.
Let's hear it.
Before they started fighting in our front lawn and stuff like that. I want to go specifically on what Juan was saying, right? Of why I believe that not only did he rob himself of the experience, because he's basically coming there talking about, like, married at first sight, it's only a 20% success rate and things of that nature. That's what he said in the video. He took that from our video, by the way, right? So whole time you're coming in really pessimistic about the whole experience. Now, let me build this brick by brick. Let me Franklin Saint this, right?
All right.
You live in Colombia, right? You tell us the story about how the maid kidnapped you and things of that nature. Thank God you're safe.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
You come to America. You make a living for yourself, right? From Colombia, you're an immigrant. You come to America. You start a whole career, right? During this time, your father catches cancer. Your father beats the cancer, right? All this time, I'm thinking like, oh, you know what? I may be a little lucky. Let me keep going on with Juan, right? Then he talks about in the message to us about how his company made over $450,000 in the first quarter and things of that nature. And just to give you a percentage, less than 18% of people make 6 figures a year. So Juan is automatically not the he is not part of the majority when it comes to salary. He's part of the minority. So whole time, this whole idea of trying to play the numbers, oh, it's only 20%. Your whole life, Juan, you have been beating the odds. You've been beating the odds with your life. Your father beat the odds. Even getting on the show, you beat the odds because a lot of people wanted to get on. And I'm supposed to believe that when it came to Married at First Sight, that's when you wanted to play the numbers. That's when you wanted to be like, oh, there's no chance for me. I only beat the odds of coming to America. I only beat the odds of getting kidnapped and coming back safe. My father beat the odds of cancer. I beat the odds of having a high salary and things of that nature. It's like, one, I don't believe nothing you're saying because it makes no sense, right? How can someone, and I know a lot of people want to go into the whole, well, Carla can't cook. Carla don't know how to work a stove. Carla didn't have a place to live. Mind you, this is the same guy that said to Carla that she needs to stop buying carrot juice because it costs too much money a day. But yet criticize her for not having a new lease. So the whole time in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, you're trying to think in a way of trying to save money. But if you're making this much money, why are you so, what's the word? So pinpoint on the carrot juice thing. That's why when I say he robbed Carla of the experience, I believe he robbed Carla of the experience because I don't believe he ever came into the experience to be married. I think he came into the experience to get the benefit or even get the audience of Married at First Sight to push whatever agenda he wants, meaning his business, his entrepreneurship, all the above. So that's what I mean when I say he robbed Carla, not because I believe Carla is some catch and things of that nature. He got the right to say no. But all I'm saying about Juan is that this segment proved that you forgot about your wife, that you was only thinking about yourself. So that's why I was saying, hey, Juan, I don't believe really nothing that you say. And truth be told, some things came out that it's like, I don't know if we should believe everything that you say. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is your thoughts, Blair?
Yeah, my thoughts. Basically, what I pulled from this segment of the reunion was that pretty much Juan didn't have the mindset that he was going in to be a husband.
Facts.
He went in with the mindset to him. What was realistic to him was that he didn't know Carla very much and he wasn't going to be spending money or doing anything extra in order to build that connection with her. And the time that he decided to spend with David was precious time that they could have been spending together on building their relationship. Facts. But I'm not going to fault him for hanging out with David. David was going through a lot, okay? He was going through a lot on the honeymoon. And if he wants to hang out, lift the man's spirits, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Yeah.
But to say that you forgot about your wife, your new wife on the honeymoon, and the whole purpose of this experiment, and the experiment is marriage, is to hone in and focus on your partner, that was a flub. Okay, it really was. And he admitted it, and he said that he shouldn't have said it. It was a wrong choice of words, but it did kind of set the foundation for the relationship in the way that she felt disregarded and unappreciated. And he never really took the time to show his consideration. When asked how he showed care for Carla, he talks about he didn't cheat on her. Well, it takes more than that to be a active participant and a partner in this type of process. And that was pretty much, you know, all we were saying in our videos. I know some people watched our videos, didn't watch our videos, had comments, but didn't see what we actually said. But that's perfectly fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. But I do want to say that when it comes to Juan and kind of like the fallout online and everything that we saw, I mean, it was Juan who decided to give paragraphs upon paragraphs of explanations of why it didn't work with Carla instead of actually taking it to her and the experts to work on his marriage. Facts. And that was the only critique that I really had from it. And that's why I also agree with the fact that he robbed himself and Carla of an experience of being truthful and honest about the shortcomings and the hurdles and what was going on with the relationship so they could see if it could work out or not. If he don't want the lady, if her lifestyle doesn't fit for him, that's absolutely fine. Facts. That was never an issue or concern of us. But, you know, if you didn't listen to the video, you wouldn't know that. Yeah. But I know you guys who are here with us and rocking with us, I totally appreciate your support. And we're going to have great conversations the way that we always do. So,
yeah. What else do I have to say? Is one more thing.
Yeah.
I'll probably come back to it probably later on.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we move on to the guys on the stage. And we're talking about who's going to get married next. They think David. If you were David and sent that text to the wrong girl, what would you have done? Juan said that David's lie was so bad about the food, he would have just said he was shooting his shot at his new lady. Thomas just would have had a better lie. He don't know what he would have said, but not food.
Definitely not food.
Achi is still single, and he doesn't really know who the right woman would be for him. Alan says that he will have that spark and he will know. David thinks that she needs to be an artistic woman, one that just picks up on his vibes. Achi, he's enjoying being selfish, not texting anyone, and just focusing on his art. Alan is definitely keeping boundaries up when it comes to David and Madison. He would not go to their wedding, but, you know, he's not going to hate on them from the sidelines either.
Yeah, I'm not understanding these weird questions of basically like if David was to get married, Alan, you're going to the wedding? Why? I don't even understand the friendship of basically that like y'all have. I understand that y'all was on the show together, but he took your wife. You get what I'm saying? He took your wife, he took your experience, he took all the above. I'm not saying hate David, but I'm just saying like, yeah, we're not going to be that cool. You get what I'm saying? Once this show is over, I'm out.
Yeah. And for me, when it comes to Akechi, I mean, and we're definitely going to get more into that.
Oh, yeah.
But in this segment, it just tells me like he's learned nothing. Mm-hmm. This man has learned absolutely nothing. And I know that he went back and apologized and did all these things, which I feel like is PR. Basically, mm-hmm. I know the right things to say, but at the core of him, I think that he's still going to do and say what he wants to do because he thinks he's in the right. So,
my man said, I enjoy being selfish. Tell me a time on the show that you wasn't selfish.
Hello?
You know what I'm saying?
Now we're going to get with the experts. We see Dr. Pia is pregnant, and we know present day she had her little baby girls. Congrats. And congratulations to her. The experts were disappointed that a new couple emerged that damaged 2 other people as well as the timing. Mm-hmm. So we first have Michelle and Alan join the experts. Alan said being on the show has kind of been a red flag. People kind of consider him desperate. Mm-hmm. But of course, we know he ended up meeting the person he's in a relationship with now, and things are good for them.
Yeah.
Dr. Pia says that he learned a lot about himself, what he can and cannot tolerate, and the things that he should and shouldn't have to change about himself. He changed a lot of superficial things, but he never changed the core of who he was as a person. Mm-hmm. Michelle knows that now that she needs to let her guard down, and she would have changed it how she changed it. Goodness. She would have changed how she acted. She was a brat, and she has apologized to him for that.
Thank you.
The text is when Michelle knew something was up.
Now stop right there. Mm-hmm. The text is when you knew something was up. A couple segments ago, you said maybe my body was rejecting him. Maybe you didn't know. Here's the thing. Until you actually have the proof, I say fully go on with the process as true as you can. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Kevin asked, is that a shooting your shot text or is a shot already been done type of text? And Pastor Cal says it sounds like something already went down.
That's true.
Dr. Pia thinks it's fair for them to question the timeline because there really hasn't been clear honesty. Michelle asks if they originally paired Madison and David together and just switched them out. And Pastor Cal says, absolutely not. That's BS now. Dr. Pia says, and honestly, y'all, as experts, we can only go off of what we're told. Race was a factor when it came to her, and we are not psychics. And in one of our deep dives, like we've done a couple of deep dives about the experts and our takes on their involvement and responsibility and culpability when it comes to the process and how it pans out for the people. And I've always pretty much stood on what Dr. Pia is saying. Like, these people be lying and they don't know what they want. And then they get in here and then they don't tell us what's really going on. Fact. So I definitely feel like, there could be some improvement with the matchmaking, but the people involved have to really want it and show up in the way that they do.
Exactly. So. People need to show up wanting to be married.
Yeah.
Not wanting to be on TV, not wanting to get the benefits of TV and things of that nature. See, the thing about it is Pastor Cal, I like how Pastor Cal was like, that's BS. I think Michelle was trying to address the rumors of, you know what, you had me paired with somebody else, but you gave me David. And here's the thing about it. I feel like David should not have been casted on the show. Mm-hmm. But he was.
Yeah.
And for Pastor Cal to basically say, and truth be told, I don't think you're going to get the truth anyway. Mm-hmm. Pastor Cal's going to defend the expert's choice to choose whoever they pair you with,
Right. Okay, y'all. We've got 3 seats sitting down with the experts across from the seats. I'm like, who in the hell has got a seat for M's man? Everybody, there's multiple people on this cast who have partners, but why does M's man get a seat on the stage? But what's for you is for you, I guess. So and Akechi sit down first with the experts. He didn't feel like she wanted to get to know him. The energy just didn't feel right. And Dr. Pepper asked, what could she have done? He says that he should have been open to her way of getting to know him. He needs someone who is open and honest and has his back. Dr. Pia says, MM was trying to meet you where you were. How did you not get it from her?
Facts.
Akechi says, at some point, you know what? I just didn't want it. And she tells him, thank you for being honest, because it was apparent.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. MM feels robbed because she was matched with someone who wouldn't be vulnerable and committed to the process. And I do want to just kind of make one little statement.
Help me.
By saying someone is robbed in the process, that is not like taking somebody to hell. Okay.
Yeah.
Being robbed in the process is not a hammer to somebody's chest. Okay. It's basically just saying that, hey, you didn't fully commit and the other person didn't get to experience the fullness of what it feels like to be married and working out an issue with somebody. Saying, just like MM says she felt robbed, just like how we felt like Juan robbed himself and Carla out of the experience. We're not damning nobody to hell, y'all. Okay.
A little bit for me.
But I just feel like it was just not getting the fullness out of the experience.
My thing is this, to your point, the experience is already hard.
Yeah.
The experience is already unique. It's unconventional and all of that, right? So the fact that it's hard, nobody is saying that it's not. Why would you go through all of these questionnaires, all of these visits, all of these house visits and things of that nature to not commit? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Unless you think there's a greater goal, and that may be fame, clout. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, it makes no sense to not commit to such a unique process, you know?
That you put so much time and effort into.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Especially Achi. I mean, the man tried out 3 different times in multiple states for him to walk away every time she entered the room.
Stalking the show.
Crazy. So Pastor Cal said to Achi that marriage is more than feelings, it is commitment. Achi thinks that he should have been open to the full experience. So, you know, Achi got some act right for the reunion.
Yes.
Okay. So Brandon then comes to the stage and Achi walks off, and Brandon was like, I knew it. I made a bet that he wouldn't be man enough to shake my hand. And Achi, he's over here fumbling the bag, or fumbling the bag. And Brandon was the one who scooped her up. Honestly, I don't fault Achi for leaving.
Not at all.
I'm not going to be standing up here while this man is moving and shaking and proposing for the 5th time. Like, I'm good off
First
that.
of all, why you got me sitting next to your man for? He's not on the show.
Yeah.
But the fact that he get a segment on the show, that makes no sense. And then the whole thing about he wasn't man enough to shake my hand. I don't got to shake your hand. I don't know you.
Yeah.
I don't know you. And you're weird.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing about it. We already thought Achi was weird. And now we over here like Achi's not as weird as this guy? Come on, let's keep going, Blair.
So we learned that they've been together for a year now, and Dr. Pepper did worry about it being so quick. What was the motivation?
Yeah.
And Mem says that it was love. She wasn't going to let this experience taint what true love was.
Stop. I don't think you know what true love is, Mem. I'm going to say it flat out.
So they were love at first sight.
No.
He hasn't shown any inconsistency, and it's been genuine.
In the beginning of this episode, and Mel was talking about Brandon about how they was having ups and downs and things like that. And now she's basically saying easy breezy. Which one is it, MM? Now, of course, I'm not saying that every relationship needs to be perfect. I'm not saying that there's not relationships that don't have up and down. But, hey, Dr. Pepper's over there saying, I do worry about how quick it was. And now you're basically like, this is what MM basically said. Look, I'm not leaving this show not being married or engaged to somebody. I think that's a wrong mental to go through.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because I think you're trying to measure love based on what you didn't get from the show, besides actual love. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Brandon asked for Pastor Cal to marry them right now.
Weird.
They want to leave today saying he has a wife, and Pastor Cal says, let's talk offline.
Weird.
And Mem was looking for this level of commitment. They do have plans for kids. Apparently she had a miscarriage at 14 weeks. So sorry about that, MM.
Yeah.
That is traumatic.
Yeah.
So, but she said that he did show up for her, and he has one daughter, another child, and they love MM.
Here's the thing about it, right? One thing he was saying is, which is, like I said, he's a weirdo. I'm just gonna flat out say it, right? He said, look, she got me in the room. What room?
Yeah, he did say that. I didn't write it down because I was just like, I don't think I'm hearing it right.
No, he said it. He said, she got me in the room. With who? With Pastor Cal, with Dr. Pierre, with Dr. Pepper and things like that, with the Married First Sight audience in front of millions of people. That's what I'm saying. My thing is this. Brandon comes off as weird. This whole idea of, I don't want to leave the show, not married. She's not even officially divorced yet. You get what I'm saying? Also, if you were so serious about marrying her, why you got to want Pastor Cal to marry her? How come you can't marry her and things of that nature? To where you plan something. It comes off performative. Fake.
Yeah.
Not genuine at all.
Yeah. Brandon, yeah, he just does a lot. And I was watching MM, and honestly, I can't tell whether she's coming or going, y'all. I couldn't tell if she was vibing with what he was saying or if she was a little bit irritated. I mean, he was even doing hand gestures of them getting it on. And doing Hennessy. It was just a lot. And that's why I wrote, if she likes it, I love it, because, I mean, this is her man. So,
and listen here, and y'all know good and well Pastor Cal don't want to talk to y'all.
Yeah.
Pastor Cal basically like, all right, brother, go back and sit down in your seat.
He said, we'll have a conversation offline.
Yeah. Guess what? Y'all still haven't been able to reach Pastor Cal. He turned his phone off. You get what I'm saying?
So we get to David and Madison with the experts. The experts are going to focus on the present. They're happy that they're happy.
Yeah.
Pastor Cal says the only question is really about the timeline. Did it happen when we found out about it that you guys actually got together? David apologizes to the lies he told that and that he continued to tell, but he declines to answer the timeline situation. He feels like he already answered. For the folks are saying they've given the timeline. Why are people continuing to ask? Why do you guys not believe what they're saying if they're going to tell you it is what it is? Because there is an actual real timeline that they're not revealing. Telling us that you guys got together in the gym, or he started liking her at the honeymoon, and she's saying, well, 3 weeks after we got back. That doesn't tell us, when did the dates start happening? When did the sneaking around start happening? When did the kissing and the touching start happening? There are actual events that happened in a sequence that people are asking because they're not giving clarity of what had happened. They're telling us when their feelings and all this types of stuff started to ebb and flow and everything like that. But look, I don't know for sure, but I feel it in my bones that there was a moment to where things pivoted and they just don't want to reveal it. And if they don't want to, that's fine. But that's why everybody's asking, because it's not clear.
And also, like, I don't understand why keep it a secret now. Yeah. Like I don't understand what's going on. But like I said, David's not, he's disingenuous in how he moves anyway. Yeah. With the whole thing about how he have a property with Madison, the property's under Madison's name. It's just all these things. Just let them have it. Yeah. Just get them out my face. Let them have it, you know?
So they just want to move forward with what they have now, and, you know, they feel like this is real love. Dr. Pia says, well, Madison, when did you decide you wanted to risk it all? And I was really happy she asked Madison, because any opportunity where an open question is out, David is going to take it to try to protect her. He always answers the question, and Madison is just sitting there looking silly to me because she doesn't want to say anything. But I'm glad that Dr. Pia addressed her directly, because we're talking to you too, ma'am. Like, can you tell us your thoughts? So Madison said when she saw him broken down and willing to confide, that's when she, you know, felt the attraction to him. David said that she knew I was struggling on the honeymoon. They're both attracted to each other, and David said that he tried in his marriage. It just took a toll dealing with Michelle. Pastor Cal says, if this is what you've grown into and love, you have to start protecting it. You don't want to leave any boundaries fuzzy, and you guys know this because boundaries were fuzzy in your previous marriages. Facts. Dr. Pia says, be the most honest versions of yourself with each other. Slow down, get to relearn each other in this space.
Yeah, like, I'm just happy that we finally offer them. Yeah. That we don't have to talk about them no more. A lot of people feel kind of icky, like, first of all, they cheated on their spouses, so why are we highlighting them? Right. I think a lot of change is going to happen in the next season. To where if you do something like this, you may get kicked off the show. Like, and that's what I expect to see, because in a way, it doesn't highlight positive marriages in my eyes. You get what I'm saying? To where we get to highlight and basically say, well, we hope y'all are happy together. I understand this is a unique experience, but it's just weird. And especially since people ask you 14, 15, 26 times, when did it start? And you're not answering. It's like, you know what? The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Right. You know?
So the full cast is back on stage. Michelle and everyone, they're talking about the comments and the critics that they've been having to face since the show was coming out. Juan didn't know people had so much hate in their heart for people they don't know. People hate him for who he is, where he's from, him having an emotional moment on TV. And he said it's all about loving and caring for each other.
Stop right there. No one hates you, Juan. And that's what this fake narrative with this whole, like, people hate Juan. Juan is this fake positive person. So if you're not jolly with Juan, he sees it as, come on, man, be positive and all this stuff. Mind you, he wasn't even positive for his own marriage. Whole time, he can watch MM get called an a-hole. He tell her to put a smile on her face. You get what I'm saying? He see Alan get cheated on. He find out he got cheated on with his best friend betrayed him. He tells Alan, put a smile on your face. But when it comes to his own marriage and his own life and things like that, he have all these things of why he can't, or why he can't, or why he can't, and why he can't. That's why I'm like, this whole idea of like, oh no, like all this hate in the world and people hate. No one hates you, Juan. I just think we see you for who you are. Like, you're over here talking about, yeah, you know, I definitely responded to every comment in Reddit and things like that. No one asked you to do that. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, just to let you know, from me personally, I don't hate you. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a show that we review. Yeah. And I think a lot of people feel some type of way when someone can see them and I can see Juan. You get what I'm saying? Like, I see him very clearly. I met Juan before. So, and when I say, well, not Juan the person, but I'm talking about that type of person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think that's why we enjoy watching and having conversations about these shows, is because it's parallels to real life. There's been real situations and real people that you've come across, and we talk about our experiences and how it relates to us. And then we have in the comments, you guys share your experiences, and you guys have told us a lot of interesting stuff about yourselves and different things you've gone through in life. And it's a way to connect, like, you know, and if he feels like it's hate, like, I'll speak for myself. I don't hate Juan. I don't hate any of these people. I don't know any of these people. But I really just think it's about having conversation about what works, what doesn't work in relationships, the ups and the downs, the type of vulnerability you have to have, and the type of honesty you have to have in order to put in the work to see something through. And at the end of the day, like, this show is not real life. This isn't a marriage in the sense of where like you know somebody and you proclaimed your love to them in that type of way, but it is a form of a marriage. And we discuss our opinions about what it takes to actually go through the process and give it your all, you know? And, you know, it's unfortunate that if anybody feels the pressure or the weight of the comments and the critics, and I think that some people do cross the line when it comes to talking about people's physicality or talking about, you know, people are like dumb, or, you know what I'm saying? Like real insults. But when we're talking about the complexities of relationships and this type of social experiment, it's going to bring about conversation that makes people think and want to discuss. Fact. But I hope that nobody feels hated, because that's a sucky feeling.
Yeah, and then like I said, social experiment, yes, but also real marriage, yes.
Yeah.
It's a real marriage. You get what I'm saying?
So Alan's mom and friends took the cheating situation hard.
Of course.
David's family and friends know who he is. They always show support to him. But earlier, we know he said that they were disappointed in how he was moving.
Yeah.
Juan says that people have come up to him and take pictures. Thomas says a client recognized him. And Juan got, you know, some type of funny DM. Michelle's friend was trying to shoot her shot at him.
Okay.
So, you know, they're getting recognized out here. And also, if people want to capitalize on the fame or the notoriety from Married at First Sight, people do it from all these shows. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, flip it, dip it, do it however you want to do it. But when you don't give your all in the process, it does look funny in the light.
It is funny. It just does. It is funny in the light.
It just does. So they asked, what do they want the viewers to know? And Achi says, we're human. We all have emotions. Allow us to be human.
Stop.
I was like, we can allow you to be human, but you can't allow MM to be human.
MM is human.
I was like, goodness gracious.
MM may be a lot of things, but one thing she's definitely is human, and she has emotions. And even throughout this process, even a year later, we can see she's still battling with those emotions. So, like, Achi, stop.
Yeah. Carla says that she is authentic to who she is. People can think what they want, sit with your irritation, and figure out why it bothers you so much.
Wow.
Michelle says that she does have a personality and she is kind. She can't change how she acted in the past, but she has done better.
Listen here. She's trying to tell us, listen, man, I am nice, guys. Her best friend said, I didn't want to be friends with you at first, but guess what? I'm going to take your word for it, Michelle.
Right.
I'm going to take your word, because sometimes it does take seeing yourself on TV to be like,
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you don't know how you look or how you sound, and you're just kind of like, yeah, I be wilding.
Yeah.
And Mim says that people can see that she's high energy, open, and loving, and that's really who she is.
Okay.
Madison came into this for the right reasons. It took an unconventional route, and her apologies to the group were genuine. David said it took a lot for everyone to do what they did. Everyone grew here, and they did learn. Okay. Camille says that David is a good dude. Y'all stop talking about him living in the basement.
No, I won't.
All right. So then they talk about, you know, just the fun. They try to close things on a light way. Luffy caused a lot of drama this season. Thomas and Camille haven't played basketball again. Madison would just change David's baggy shirts. And Madison hung out in the basement apartment. She asked him what his plan was. And then he said he planned to own his own place in 6 to 9 months. Well, the relationship was going so well, she just moved him into her place.
Stop right there. Why didn't you let him, like, do what he said he was going to do?
Let's see if he can follow through on what he says. Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see.
And that's what I'm saying. Now, I understand that throughout the process, Michelle really didn't go into detail about, hey, David, what is your plan? You know? But Madison, y'all went into detail about what the plan. And then when he told you the plan, you changed the plan and moved him in with you. Whew. I would have seen if David can pull himself up by his bootstraps to get a place of his own. Yeah. That's what I would have did.
Yeah. And especially if you guys aren't engaged yet and this is a new relationship, especially coming off the heels of how y'all got together, let's see if a man can stick to his word a little bit.
Fact.
Let's just see. And Juan says that, they have our support moving forward. I'm like, Juan, Alan was looking to the side.
Yeah.
Michelle was probably looking down at her dress and her nails.
I'm about to say.
So Juan, you might want to speak for yourself.
It's just that always got to be positive when you don't even have to be yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's why people are like, oh, you're being positive in this situation. It comes off as fake.
It comes off as not genuine, and it comes across as tone deaf.
Yes, tone deaf is a better word right there. I like that word.
It comes across as tone deaf. I think that there are genuinely positive people in the world, and I don't want to come across as a negative Nancy because I actually am a positive person. I actually am. Yeah. So I hear, the things that Juan says, but in certain moments it just comes across a little tone deaf.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem sensitive to the needs of the people in the situation. So we see a compilation of everyone having fun in their funny moments. We wrap the season up, and y'all, it has been a ride, but we are not off the ride.
We're not off the ride.
We've got another episode of Where Are They Now? So
listen here.
Goodness gracious.
We gonna be here for the rest of this month.
Get me off the ride.
Nah, stay on the ride. Stay on the ride. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Listen here. Let my voice come back. Give me about 2 more days. I just had to drop this for y'all to have something.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Give me 2 more days. I'm gonna flood the streets again. I'm gonna wear masks this time. We gonna hit y'all with some deep dives because I don't have the voice for it today, but I have some news and I have some conversations that I want to have with my wife and with y'all about Brandon and Mem, Juan, Carla. I'm not talking about David Madison no more. I'm tired of them.
Yeah, same.
You get what I'm saying? And I hope y'all join us then. Anything else?
That's all we got.
We see y'all.
Bye.